What's up, folks? Sean the Average Angler. We've got another fall to winter video going on here, and you see I'm in my new AFCO Reaper hoodie. This thing is freaking sweet. It gets cold, you got the face mask. Anyway, that's enough of that. Yeah, badass. I walked the dog in this morning. It was cold, and I was comfortable in just this and my t-shirt that I'm wearing under it. Anyway, today we're looking at the transition from fall to winter, and this video is going to touch on the drop shot. And some of you might be wondering, what the hell are we going to adjust on the drop shot? Well, a couple of things. Number one, for the drop shot, I'm adjusting rods, believe it or not. Not because I'm lightening my line so much, but I just want something softer so that I have a little more time when I'm freezing my ass off out there to realize that I have a bite, is what I'm talking about here. Okay, you see that? That bend in that tip. Okay, this thing bends really, really easy. Now, the reason I like that is it gives the fish a chance to start to load up on it before I need to do anything, okay? A lot of times when they're eating a drop shot, they're just kind of, it's not like it's trying to get away or anything else. So we all, oh, excuse me, jeez. We all know that a lot of times that bite is just, they bite it and then they'll just slowly move off. So this just gives me time so they don't feel me too soon, okay? It also helps because I'm going to be using smaller baits this time of year, and some specific baits this time of year, mostly because when the water gets cold, plastics tend to stiffen up. They don't move quite as well. So I'm first going to go to, well, let me get to that later. First, I'm going to go to baits for their shape, okay? This is a 6th Sense Glitch 3.8, okay? It's like a minnow type shape. I got this pack from a 6th Sense membership thing. I was a part of at the time. Anyway, it's a good little minnow shape. Not so much a good little minnow color, but if you're fishing in muddy water, black and blue is a good color. It says it's a exclusive color. I assume that's because they're not going to make that. I don't really know. But anyway, there is another one. We're back, and it's right in front of me, and I had my damn hands on it. The other one is a Strike King Dream Shot. These I've done really, really well with this time of year. And again, similar in that it's kind of a bait fish type profile, okay? Gets the real narrow tail, a little bigger on the back. This will help with the weight back there, help it move some, okay? So we're still gonna get some movement out of it, but we also have a bait fish shape. Even though that's not a bait fish color, this is a very good color, and it's just called Magic. I will tell you, spotted bass like it, largemouth bot like it. It's a really good color, really good bait. Now, some other ones I really like, the Flirt worm, one of my favorite shaky worms. This thing just has really good movement in the tail area. Again, it's got a little extra something to the tail there. I'm trying to get that thing to stop moving. Okay, if you'll see, there's a keel. And very, very narrow back here, right? So it bends really, really well. That's another one I really like. They do have bait fish colors. Watermelon candy, also known as juicy. Kind of hard to complain about. That one's good everywhere, right? All right. And then, of course, the 4.5-inch Robo Worm. Very subtle. We all know, a million colors. But I dropped down to the 4.5. Okay, all of these are under 5 inches. The Flirt Worm being the longest at 4.95. And then the last one may or may not come as a surprise to you. This is a Strike King half shell. Okay. Again, it's flat here. It's got a little keel under there. One of the baits that helped Brian Smith win the U.S. Open on Lake Mead. All right, phenomenal. Okay, the other changes we're going to get to here. Find that hook so I don't make sure I don't stab myself. I'm going to a nose hook. Okay, this is a small hook. It is a size number 1 in the 6 cents drop shot hook. And all I'm going to do is nose hook it like so. See, that sweatshirt comes in good for something. Yep, very simple. What I find much more important is weight placement, right? Because that's going to determine how high up in the water or off the bottom your bait is. Now we can do, 6 inches. We can do 3 feet. But what I want to bring to your attention, and what I don't hear a lot of pros or anybody else talk about, is it really depends on how we're fishing it. If we are making long casts and working it back, imagine that your line is at an angle like this. So you can have it with a 2-foot leader, and it might only be 8 to 10 inches off the bottom, right? If you're fishing it directly into the boat, it's going to be up whatever the distance you tie from the weight to the hook. So keep in mind, if you're making long casts, what are you doing to the bait? Is it at an angle and down low? Or is it this way? So, that said, one thing I like to do in the wintertime is, I'm going to give you 2 little secrets here. One, if you're in snaggy stuff and you're losing a lot of weights, split shot work great. Okay, crimp your split shot on there, and if you pull it off, so what, put another one on. 2, if I'm not in a lot of snaggy stuff, or I think I can shake my weight out, I would prefer to tie it on than the clip-on, because when the clip-ons get hung up and you pull on it, some of them are so darn sharp, they'll just cut through your line and phew, there goes your tungsten weight. So I prefer this time of year, since most of the time I'm fishing a drop shot, I'm fishing under the boat or shorter casts away, okay? I'm not making long casts away. We're talking about 25, 35 feet out from the boat, and I'm working it back. I'm fishing targets with the drop shot. The drop shot is a terrible way to cover water and find fish. So if I'm not seeing something or already found fish with another technique, I'm not throwing a drop shot, okay? It's just the way it is. I don't have a lot of lakes around me that have docks aside from Clear Lake, and Clear Lake's not really around me. Clear Lake is 3.5 hours, 4 hours away. The rest of the lakes I have to deal with, there are no docks on the lakes, there's no houses, so I don't have visible shoreline cover to fish, and I'm generally out looking for ledges, rock piles, drop-offs, those kinds of things. Some sort of hard bottom for me to target. And then I'm looking on the graph to see if there's fish. So the drop shot, in my mind, is a great tool in the wintertime. It's just not a great tool for locating fish because of the fact that you don't cover water real fast with it in the winter, okay? That half shell is a great bait to throw on the drop shot. All of these are great baits to throw on the drop shot. This is other thing I do point out for you. I don't like the expensive minnow baits this time of year on the drop shot because, man, there's a lot of time, and that's a little tiny hook where they peel it off, okay? If you're using Elastec or Elastec baits, that's a different story. A lot of times you can use them for quite a while. All right, get out there and fish in the wintertime. There's not a lot of other traffic on the boats. Fishing can be really good. Dress warm. Get yourself some nice warm clothes. This is the AFCO Reaper. I'm not sponsored by them. My wife just got it for me for Christmas and gave it to me already because she said I knew about it. I only knew because she told me. But anyway, keep in mind, you'll see that rod is really soft, okay? For those wondering, this is a G Ultra Finesse IRG 731, okay? It's also a really good strolling rod. Oh, I caught one. It's a really good strolling rod as well. Shaky heads and drop shot. Get yourself one at your favorite retailer. It's the IRG 731. It'll be down in the description. Sean the Average Angler, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.